Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Tech Ranch. This is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson. I have Alice Anderson in studio as well. And we're back from CES. If we sound not 100% ourselves, it's because we're not.
No doubt.
So, yeah, I mean, this is I won't say an annual thing, but this year it's certainly worse.
It's because we brought home the CES germs.
Yeah, CES crud is what it's called. And there's a lot of people that go to CES every year and end up coming home sick. I mean, when you have a few 100,000 people that are mingling like you do, I mean, you're just going to spread a bunch of stuff. There's no doubt about it. And
in very close quarters.
Yeah. I don't know if I've been sick every year, but there's many years that I've come home at least a little ill.
Yeah.
So
we both have
too, yeah. Yep.
Not every year, though, thank goodness.
No. And I always debate over do I go get a flu shot before I go or not? Because, I'm not a big fan of taking, annual flu shots and things. And that's just a personal thing. But CES usually has me tipping towards doing that. But this year I didn't. And then I really got sick.
Next year I'm going to.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a huge upper respiratory thing going around that I think everybody in our team ended up with.
I got the mildest case of all of it. All I had was a cough and felt good the whole time.
Yeah. I guess I haven't talked to Jim, so I'm not sure how he's feeling yet, but he came home. He hadn't had it yet when he came home. So we'll see. But some of us, I mean, I was actually just holed up in my hotel room for 3.5 days. That was fun.
Yeah, you were miserable.
Yeah. But with that, and there's no doubt that being sick away from home is just totally different. If you're in a hotel room, nobody around you, I mean, I would muster up enough energy to, and I would go during times in the hotel that weren't busy because they didn't want to be around anybody else because I'm pretty cognitive about making sure that other people don't get sick if I'm sick. I try to be that way anyway. And, so I would go down, at 2:00 in the morning or whatever and find some place that might have some food or whatever. Not that I was eating a lot, but I was able to, with all these AI announcements and stuff, my goodness, there's been so much tech. And then on top of it, we're going to the moon again.
Right.
Have you seen this?
I know. How exciting is that?
So I know one of the, well, I'm just going to back up a little bit. So let's see, this would have been I should have grabbed the notes on it here, January 13th, 14th, 12th, somewhere in that neighborhood. SpaceX launches a Falcon, and it has two moon vehicles on it. So one of them's named Ghost Rider. I forget what the other one is. The first one, and these aren't so they dispatch them from the rocket. So now there's two of them in orbit around us right now.
Right.
If you're listening to the show on current time here, if you listen to it a few weeks later, then it's not current time anymore. They probably came back already. But so they're going to orbit. The one orbits Earth for 16 days. I think that's Ghost Rider. Okay. And then it fires its retros, and then it'll take 4 days to get to the moon, land on the moon, and then I guess spend 20 days there just lollygagging around.
Just having a good old time.
Taking photos, doing whatever it's going to do. And then I guess come back home. This is just one little vehicle that's just going to go there and back. And then the other one So this is like a 40-day mission, right? And then the other one, it's orbiting Earth right now, and will continue to orbit Earth for the next 40 days or so.
Right.
Doing experiments and all of these other things too. And then that one, well, just fire its retros, head over to the Earth or over to the moon. You know, like you and I fly to a different town now for lunch.
Right.
We're just, well, I'm tired of spinning around the Earth. Let's go to the moon now. Oh, okay, let's go to the moon, you know. And then it just takes off and goes to the moon. I'm so jazzed about this.
My only disappointment in the whole thing is that I'd like to be going along.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. If it's just such a casual thing now.
Right. I'd love to go.
Let's just hop on this thing and go ourselves.
Yeah, that's my only disappointment is that they went without me.
So that's kind of cool. And the reason Alice is on, by the way, is that we're going to talk all about the CES experience this year. And we are just going to talk about, we've seen some really, really cool stuff. I didn't see the LG clear television.
I did not either.
Yeah. It's over in the main hall.
Right. And we didn't get there. We were at the other one and never got through all of that.
Never left that one. We were so busy over there. But yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Absolutely.
The price tag's $60,000 right now for that television.
It's a little more than I want to spend for a television.
I'm thinking in 4 years it'll be $299 at Walmart.
That's on Black Friday.
So just wait a couple of years. But it is a see-through screen. I mean, literally like a window.
Right.
And I think that is going to change the way retail shops market their wares in the future, especially if they have, show windows and things like that. I can just see these windows now transforming into these screens where you can have your hours of operation, you can have your whatever it is, just like a menu when you go into a restaurant now, when they have all those on screens now, right?
Right.
I think you'll start seeing those type of things on all. You could have models displaying your latest clothing. You can have whatever just right in your windows.
Absolutely. Show what's your sale this week.
Right.
What's your hot thing going on right now?
Or you can I think about even further. So as as facial recognition becomes more mainstream, and you're walking by a shop, it'll see you and knows that you like Gucci handbags, and it'll show you the Gucci's that it has in the store before you even walk in, right in the window.
Pretty cool.
That's where I think this is going.
Yeah. I expect you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Got a few years to get there. But
well, it'll be interesting to see, because that technology is available right now.
But the cost for most of these stores, it's going to take a few years for that to come down to where they can do it.
Absolutely. It'll be like Back to the Future sometime.
Right.
Here. So, all right, everybody, after the break, we will be talking about our adventures at CES. So come on back.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we have Alice Anderson in the house.
Hello, everyone.
Are you used to this yet?
I'm there.
You really?
So there, yes.
Wow. We're talking about CES 2025. We just returned from that. Both of us are a little under the weather yet, but we are managing our way through this. So if we sound a little different, that's what's going on. We both picked up we lovingly refer to it as CES crud every year. 200,000 people jammed together, and we love to share everything.
Absolutely.
So anyway, CES this year, we were crazy busy.
There wasn't a dull moment at CES. I mean, we ran hard.
We did a lot of interviews, both live and on the floor. We are doing a series for Beck Television, by the way, so that will be starting shortly, and those are 8-minute segments that you'll see on there. So those of you who have Beck TV. You can certainly be catching those. There'll be some announcement pretty soon about when those will start airing, but they will be airing pretty shortly, so stay tuned for those. Those are going to be a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun because we found really great products and people to interview.
Yep. So one of the first things was Alice decided that I needed a haircut.
That wasn't quite how it went.
I believe that's exactly how it went.
But they had these barbers there doing haircuts, and I thought, what a fun interview that would be.
So Wall was there.
Yes, Wall Products.
Yeah. That's WAHL.
Yes.
And they had, what was his name? Do you remember?
I don't remember his name, but boy, was he fun.
He was fun. And he's a master barber.
Yes.
So I now have a haircut from a master barber that I'm sporting.
For the first time in your life.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's out of Chicago, the Chicago area. He has his own shop. And a number of people that were working there for him while he was at CES doing haircuts with Wall Products.
Yep. And so anyway, he had talked, Alice and this barber had talked, and they recruited me to be their guinea pig, I guess. So I got a haircut, and it was fun. There's a nice crowd that gathered while that segment was being filmed. Alice was leading the chant of "Take it all off, take it all off."
I was not. You're making that up.
Anyway, there wasn't much hair left on my head.
Well, I tell you what. Before you sat down, when he offered me the clippers, I should have just taken them. He said I was going to do the haircut, but then he did it himself.
So that was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of tech in cutting hair.
There is.
Who would have thought? Yeah. So that was very interesting. We did a couple sports ones. There was the dartboard.
That dartboard was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually the dartboard. It was what goes around the dartboard.
Well, it's interesting. You know, it's similar to like video gaming now, where you can just play with anybody around the world that has a passion to play that particular game too, right?
Right.
Online gaming. This is basically online darts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
In real time. I mean, but with real dartboard.
Yes.
So that was, I thought, pretty cool.
Very interesting.
So
what a change. Total change in the sport.
They even have a scenario with a waiting room scenario. So if people were wanting to play darts but didn't have somebody to play against, like if I reached out to Alice and said, hey, let's play a game of darts, and Alice is in Minot, North Dakota, and I'm in Bismarck, North Dakota, or Mandan, we could do that, right? We could prearrange this and play against each other. But there's people, let's say Alice wanted to play a game of darts but didn't have anybody to play against. You can just go into the waiting room, and then people can just catch up and play.
Till someone shows up and says, hey, let's play.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I mean, that's not groundbreaking stuff. There was that little basketball hoop.
That was kind of fun too.
Similar as well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they had the little guy there. They also have the regular size basketball hoop. And that one was more about, I mean, they have games like horse and things like that too, 3-point shooting and free throws and things. But there was sensors on the board and in the hoop that would help you improve your game.
Right.
As well. So that's interesting. So if you know, I remember back in high school days, I guess, that we would sit at the free throw line and shoot 50 free throws every practice, right? Well, if I'm always going off the right side of the hoop, for example, when I'm not making them, it would actually pick up that pattern, and then you could adjust accordingly.
Some of us could really use that.
Yes.
I would be one of those people that would need that kind of help.
So if you're wanting to become a basketball star, or just, you know, a slight improvement because you're on a high school or an amateur team, I mean, that would be kind of a cool thing
it would be
to do. Did we do any other sports things?
I don't believe we did. I think that was it. From there, we just moved on to different.
Into even more amazing stuff. So let's see. The first day we did those. We did the haircut. What else did we? I know it's tough to remember all.
There was so much. I couldn't tell you what we did any given day.
I don't remember the name of the company, and you'll have to forgive us with this stuff, everybody, because the I did a lot of live interviews too, and it's streamed out of CES. It's a 3-hour segment. So on top of the stuff we do on the floor, which is challenging, because you're dealing with the masses of people and trying to film these segments in their booths, right? We also have a live stream that goes on, and that's in a tower high above the Venetian Sands Convention Center that overlooks the floor, and people come to us, and those are prearranged, and every 10 minutes there's somebody else showing up with their stuff. There was there's a lot of eyewear type of things, where you would actually, like Google Glass type of scenarios for people who are familiar with that. So it will project images into your lenses, for example. So, and it can be just as simple as like what's on your watch or whatever, but it can be a lot more, like, text message that comes in. You can voice command them to take photos and whatever. Because there's a camera built into them. Some of them have speakers built into them as well, or earbuds, so that you can hear. You can play your favorite tunes or whatever through them. And I'm just giving you general because we're running up against the clock here right now, and I won't have enough time to explain what was the most amazing thing
of them all.
And almost won my pick for the top thing at CES this year. And we'll get to that in a little while too. But our top pick is
incredible.
That's the only word that you can use for it, and will change everything.
It's going to change everything for a lot of people.
Yeah, so it's truly remarkable, and we'll get to those things after we come back.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
And here we are back, everybody. Here we are. That's right. Alice Anderson in studio as well. She was with me down at CES this year. And if you're just joining us, that's what we're talking about, CES 2025.
An amazing week is what that is every year.
Yeah. Totally wore out from it, as you can probably hear in our voices. But it was quite incredible. So we were just talking about eyewear and more along the line of Google Glass. And that was a thing that Google started probably a decade ago now, where they were going to start projecting things, just kind of an augmented reality type of scenario. One of the scenarios was that if you were walking by a coffee shop, for example, and you had Facebook integrated with your Google Glass, for example, right? You could look in the coffee shop and it would tell you that a couple of your friends are sitting in there right now.
And that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Or that this is the deal that they have for you today. You get a $2 cup of coffee or whatever it is, right? So those are some basic functions. I mean, it goes all the way to, helping mechanics when they're or do-it-yourselfers when they're repairing a car or washing a machine or whatever, because you get step-by-step instruction right in your glassware. So those are just some minor, or it's more bigger things. But.
And that's an older technology, but it's still way cool.
Yeah, and they've just been building on that ever since that project was announced. So there was a couple things we've seen this year, and the one of them that you had just brought up over the break was the glasses that we saw in the AARP, and I believe they called it the Ageless Pavilion.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Aging Pavilion.
No, it
wasn't aging.
It was a clever twist on it. I think Ageless is what it was.
I think so.
And
those glasses were really a wonderful thing for people.
They are, and basically what happens with them, if you have a hearing, if you have hearing loss, or maybe you just don't hear at all, these glasses, as somebody talks to you, the words appear in the glasses.
On the lenses.
Isn't that incredible?
I know. For people, what an amazing new thing for people who can't hear. It's just going to make their lives so much better.
Yeah, it was remarkable putting those glasses on and watching these words, just having a conversation and the words just appear.
Yeah.
That really was a remarkable thing. And I think that a lot of people, and you don't have to have total hearing loss to use these. I could see these really being used, like, a lot of people have challenges in places with a lot of ancillary noise, stadiums and bars and wherever else.
A lot of people who are wearing hearing aids can't tolerate being in crowds and noisy places like that because it just gets to be too much and it's crazy and it makes them nuts.
And what it does is it actually picks up pretty much the closest voices to you. Mm-hmm. But it will actually, if somebody's sitting behind you and says something and you're not engaged in another conversation, that'll show up in your glasses.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Hey buddy, sit down," right? And you're like, "Oh, that's me. I better sit down," right? I mean, type of thing, if you're watching a sporting event or something. So it does pick up those things too. So it's not just to the person that you're directly having a conversation with. I suppose it would take some getting used to.
I'm sure it would. There's no doubt that would take a little bit of adjustment to get to where you were comfortable with it.
I think, and I don't know if it has these in there, and as I'm thinking about it now, it would be interesting if they were to put in like an arrow. So if it heard it from behind you and to the right, so the arrow then would kind of point in your eyewear then, that's where it heard this from. So then you would be able to turn around and take a look at who it is or whatever. So if somebody said, "Hey, Alice," you would know where it came from.
Right.
So I don't know if they've thought about that, and if they have it, maybe when we, because we have an interview with them, and you'll see that interview sometime in the near future. And that might be a suggestion that we could send to them.
Absolutely. But I just think they are really changing things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be wonderful.
And then during the live segment, there was a company that came up and they also had eyewear. And what was interesting about this one is that he purposely brought in a set of glasses that had no lenses in them.
Right.
But yet could still see the messages and everything else that he wanted to see. And you're like, what is going on here? Well, there's a little laser that's set up in the frame above your eyes that beams the messages onto your retina.
Wow.
I have to admit, I'm a very early integrator to tech. That one, I might wait 3 or 4 years before I want to use that. I don't know. I just, the idea and the guy who's in there is using it like it's not no big deal here. And how it works is like if your phone buzzes or something and let's say you got a message, right? And it vibrates, you just look up. So you look up and then it just, the beam will then be on your retina and you can see it.
I, for the life of me, have no idea, cannot understand how these people come up with some of this.
Can you imagine what the future will be with stuff like this, right? So think about like this, because a lot of these glasses have pretty awesome audio in them too.
Right.
Right. And so you build those two things together, this laser, I don't even know what to call it, I guess, and audio. I mean, the experience that you could have on an airplane watching a movie, you're not just sitting down looking down at a screen or whatever anymore. You're laid back. You just have your eyes open and you're watching your movie. That's crazy.
Amazing is what it is.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be the first one that's going to hop on the bandwagon with that because I think that I don't know, maybe there's nothing to worry about at all. I would have to think that they have talked about. So I think we'll just let them do the R&D on it, and then a year or two from now, I'll give it a try.
I think I'm okay with that, with waiting a bit on that one. But how incredible.
It really is. It really is. So those are a couple of things that we saw at CES. We'll have more when we come back.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
Welcome back, everybody. Alice Anderson in-house. We are doing a review of our trip to CES 2025, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm, Prince, formerly known as, yeah. Anyway, we just reviewed we just talked about a couple things in the eyeglass space. I'm going to bring up a couple things now that we didn't get to, Alice.
Okay.
And I want your opinion of this. So, Kirin, are you familiar with the company Kirin? Kirin.
I am not.
Okay. So, they introduced and I really wanted to get over to see this. That's why I'm bringing it up. But because of our schedule, which was totally full, and then some, we just were unable to get there. But they have what they call the electric salt spoon that they introduced at CES.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a Japanese appliance company, and they have a soup spoon. It's large, requires an awkward grip. So it's large, meaning that the handle where you would normally, there's obviously a little battery compartment and stuff there that you have to have. And how it works is it engages, or there's an awkward grip to engage the sensors, okay? So, but if you pull it off, a weak electrical current will simulate the taste of salt.
Without
using salt, making an imperfect but promising piece of dinnerware tech. So, let's say you thought the soup was a little bland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can use this spoon and it will taste like like a little salt's been added to it.
What a wonderful idea, because by far the majority of us eat too much salt. And we don't even know we're doing it,
right,
because it's so cleverly hidden in everything.
Right.
But that would give you back the taste without all the sodium.
And isn't it incredible that there's actual sensors or whatever in your mouth that can be stimulated this way so that you can actually make it taste like, salt's been added. I wonder if sometime in the future then they'll be able to do something where liver tastes like chocolate. And
oh, who knows? But, in the meantime, if you eat your French fries off of this spoon, they wouldn't be as bad for you.
Interesting. So that one is interesting. I know we talked a little bit about the LG clear transparent screen.
Yes.
A little bit ago. So the Flint paper battery. Did you see this?
I did not.
So this is a Singapore group. It's a startup. And called Flint, and they one of the problems with batteries is, of course, the size of them.
Absolutely.
So they've been trying to work on this, and there's a lot of very thin batteries that are out there too. You'll see them there's all kinds of stuff that they're in actually, and when I say thick, they can be very, very thin, but they don't hold a lot of charge. So that's one of the challenges. So they've come up with a cellulose. It's a natural material that promotes ionic transfer between the positive and negative terminals of a battery, which is just another way to say electricity. So just if you want to know. So cellulose is the stuff of leaves and other greenery, is flexible, compressible, and possibly more important, biodegradable. The paper battery can be shrunk small enough to embed into a smartwatch strap. So, and this would be the battery then. So your smartwatch might not have a battery inside of it anymore. It might just be in the strap itself or whatever. So it's really, really kind of interesting. And I think the ramifications of this can be pretty significant.
I agree.
So that's another thing that we didn't get to see at CES that I wish we would have gotten to. Let's see. Honda Zero. So they have a new electric concept car, and they shared a closer to final version of this line, which goes into production in 2026. So it'll go into production next year. And it's pretty cool, actually. I mean, the look of this vehicle is very, very cool. And, you know, we talk a lot about EVs on this show, whether they're actually good for the environment or not. And general consensus is that they're about the same. You know, it's just a little different. But they have their place. I mean, I like, you know, like you would be, I think you, Alice, would be the perfect case study for somebody with an EV.
Because I don't drive very far, ever.
You have this couple mile commute that you do every day, and the occasional run to the bank or run across town or whatever, right? But, grocery store.
I do so little driving that, yes, I would be the ultimate person to drive that. So
even just plugging into a regular outlet in the car, because a slow trickle charge would be enough for you.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't, no expensive adding $5,000, $10,000 worth of work to your house to have a higher speed EV charging system in place or whatever. So you are a great case study for an EV. And this EV, I'm thinking you would really, really like. It's pretty cool. So I think they're here to stay. They're going to be, you know, unless hydrogen really comes along, and there's some hydrogen that was introduced this year as well. There's one actually that was just absolutely awesome that was there. XGME, this is crazy. And more of our phones are going to be using this technology. Well, they kind of do already, but it's becoming even... Let me give you a scenario here.
Okay.
There might be a time in the future where, just like a piece of paper, you could fold your phone up and put it in your pocket.
Well, you know, there is already that one foldable phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but it's still, I mean, it's still
thicker.
Right. So XGME has an LG OLED rollable screen.
Okay.
So it just is in a little, think of it this way. Remember the old projector screens?
Yes.
Yeah. And you roll them up and put them in the thing. That's exactly what this is. You just roll it out, but instead of a projector being on there, it's actually an LED screen. It's a TV ready to go.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you can just, you know, if you don't want a lot of people do their televisions now as like frames on a wall and things like that to display photos and that type of thing. And then you turn on a TV. If you don't want that on a wall, for example, you could just have this drop down out of the ceiling. You might have a little stand that you have it on the floor, and then you just, you know, put it up from there. So it's pretty cool.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
We're always looking at different ways to try to track our health, whether it's your smartwatch, your smart device, different apps. Well, there's a company out there called Food Marble that has an app to do just that.
More than anything else, we want to interview you because of the name of your company.
Okay, right.
I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Food Marble is.
Food Marble, yeah.
But you're going to tell us, aren't you? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Like, it's a little bit corny, but, you know, everyone's digestive system's completely unique. And right, every marble, you know, like a marble, like when you're a kid.
Okay.
Like,
yes.
Every marble's unique, right?
Right.
So I guess that's one of our philosophies, right? Because every single person's completely different in how they digest food. food. And so we want to enable people to be able to measure that, right? Just make it a lot simpler.
Okay, so what does Food Marble do? I mean, how does this process work?
Yeah, so this device is measuring hydrogen levels on your breath. Okay? And that's a marker of how well you're absorbing the food that's passing through your digestive system.
Okay.
Right? And so it's based off an existing clinical technology, but that tends to be large desktop devices in the hospital. So we've reduced it down to a much smaller device, right? Because digestion happens slowly, and so you can't live in the hospital, right? So what we're doing is allowing people to do it in the home, log what they eat, take the breath tests, log any symptoms you're experiencing, and if you start seeing high breath readings, you can look back and see, okay, what was in that food, right? Because we've got a food database in the app, and so we know what components are in each of the different foods, and so you can see, okay, what are the likely culprits? If it was a sandwich, was it the bread? Was it the cheese? So it just makes it a lot simpler for people to be able to join the dots.
So I see. So if you're dealing with maybe a food allergy, but you don't know what the allergy is, this will help, it almost create the science around it so that you can start playing your own detective and figuring it out.
Right. So technically it's not for food allergies because that's like very, very directly you experience the response and all the history. But this is in the area of food intolerances. But really, to most people it's the same thing. But basically where you eat food and, either, maybe after an hour or 2 hours or a number of hours later, you start to feel unwell. And you're like, okay, what caused that? And, what was it in the food or what else?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And your device is available right now?
It's available right now through our website, foodmarble.com. It's $159, including shipping. We did over 8,000 pre-orders through our website. And so we're really thankful for all of those people who pre-ordered.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so we're, those people are starting to use the device, give feedback, and we really appreciate everyone's feedback so we can just keep improving the product, making it more and more useful for people. So, yeah.
All right. And again, where do we find you?
Foodmarble.com.
All right. This is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson at CES 2019.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to January 11th on the National Day calendar. Today we're toasting a nutritious staple and diving into the joys of personal interests.
It's National Hobby Month, a time to explore and embrace activities that bring us joy and fulfillment. Hobbies are more than just pastime. They offer opportunities for learning, creativity, and relaxation. Whether you're picking up a new skill or diving deeper into a long-time passion, dedicating time to hobbies can enhance your overall well-being and provide a welcome escape from the daily routine. This month, consider trying something new or dedicating a little extra time to the interests that make your heart sing.
These are my hobbies. I like biking, hiking, smelling my books. I like drawing, painting, cooking for one. I like sewing, knitting, smelling my books. I like napping, waking up, and talking like Gandalf.
And the interest that makes your heart sing this month is your birthday.
It is, and my favorite hobby is traveling.
And you're going to combine the two at the same time.
Yes, and I'm leaving right after this.
That sounds amazing. Where are you off to?
Colombia.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be great.
You have to check out the milk there, will you?
What?
Yeah. Because milk has been a cornerstone of nutrition for centuries, providing essential vitamins and minerals that support healthy bones and growth. On National Milk Day, we celebrate this versatile beverage that complements our meals and enriches our diets. Whether enjoyed in a glass, poured over cereal, or used in cooking and baking, milk plays a vital role in our daily lives. Today, let's raise a glass to this nourishing drink and appreciate its contributions to our health and cuisine.
You're a milk drinker, aren't you?
Mostly almond or whatever, but you should be so excited. I got you the most ultimate gift to celebrate today.
I'm scared to ask what that is.
Oh, it's lovely. It's the Milk of the Month Club.
What?
Yeah. Every month, you'll receive a different type of milk. It truly is the gift that keeps on giving, LaToya.
I don't even know what to say to you.
Just thank you is fine.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if that's fitting, but you're...
In all seriousness, Latoya, happy birthday.
Thank you. And as we continue, thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
Until next time, keep celebrating.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish Outreach Biologist Greg Gullickson.
In a recent report, we discussed a few groups that really help outdoors in North Dakota. And like many nonprofits, Greg, they can always use our support, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's quite a few different wildlife clubs across the state, and whether they have a national affiliation or not. There's your mom and pop ones like the Garrison Sportsman's Club, and then you have one that I'm really familiar with, the West Dakota Waterfowlers, who are actually affiliated with Delta Waterfowl in Minot. There's a lot of great groups out there across the state, and I work with 13 of them just in and around the Minot area, and they do a pile for helping the youth out there for habitat, just educating sportsmen and women and networking with each other. And right now is a pretty crucial time for a lot of these organizations. So look up your local club when they're going to have their banquets. And these are their big fundraisers. And heck of a good time. Come out, have a good meal, network with fellow like-minded outdoors folks.
Good stuff, Greg. And hey, we'll have more on wildlife groups when we come back.
Nothing says game day like good friends and great food. And at Slim Chickens, we know great food. From our 100% all-natural chicken tenders, fresh-made wings served with house sauces, to delicious chicken sandwiches, crisp salads, southern sides, and desserts you just can't get anywhere else. At Slim's, we have the food you love, made fresh for the people you care about. Dine in, drive through, or order online. Slim Chickens. Fresh, delicious chicken.
It's easy to put off saving for retirement, but it can be even easier than you think to start. And once you do, you can feel more confident about your future. As a financial professional of Thrivent, let me help you define your financial goals and take realistic steps to help you reach them. It comes down to making choices about your money that match your values, because even small steps can get you where you want to go. Contact me, financial associate Andy Laris, at 701-509-5794.
Talking wildlife groups today on Outdoor Issues. And Greg, we touched on it before the break, but what are some more benefits that these groups provide?
One of the big ones with a lot of the clubs that I notice is youth hunting, involving that next generation. Probably next on the list would be habitat, working with farmers and landowners, providing programs, providing assistance out there, whether it's just a mom and pop organization that doesn't have a national affiliation. I work with several of those as well, but get out and support those groups. It doesn't have to necessarily be Ducks Unlimited. It could be the Rugby Sportsman's Club. Just get out there, look up when they're going to have their banquets, and get out and support them. They do a lot of great things for the North Dakota outdoors.
Good stuff, Greg, and that brings this report to a close. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by Andy Laris, your Thrivent financial advisor in Minot, by Slim Chickens in Minot, and by Minot's best new burger, Rocky's Burgers, Franks, and Fries.
Supertalk 1270. KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. A TikTok ban now just hours away. Content creators like Jacob Lovett frustrated.
I think it's, honestly, I think it's kind of crazy that our government would even jump to these extremes. I think, social media is kind of one of those things. It's just a public platform for people to share their thoughts.
The Biden administration saying on Friday it will be up to the Trump administration to implement the ban. President-elect Trump saying his decision on the app's fate will be made in the, quote, not too distant future. TikTok says it will go dark tomorrow unless President Biden intervenes. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking today, calling the first phase of a hostage detainee release deal a temporary ceasefire, and said Israel reserves the right to resume fighting if Israel concludes that negotiations on phase 2 of the ceasefire are futile. Just days before President-elect Trump's inauguration, brutal cold forcing the ceremony indoors for the first time since 1985. This is ABC News. The Los Angeles County wildfires have now delayed the Menendez brothers' attempt to get out of prison. The brothers who killed their parents in 1989 have been claiming they should get out.
Because of the ongoing wildfire situation here in L.A. County, District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing the resentencing hearing for Lyle and Eric Menendez, who was set for January 30th and 31st, has been delayed until March 20th and 21st. The Menendez brothers argue they deserve to be let out of prison or given parole. Hochman, who was sworn in last month, has not decided if, like his predecessor in the DA's office, he will support their push for freedom. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
2 drugs at the heart of the weight loss boom, Ozempic and Wegovy, are among the 15 medications whose prices will now be negotiated directly between Medicare and the drug makers. It's the second round of drug price negotiations under President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, meant to make expensive drugs more affordable for seniors. Dave Packer, ABC News.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly sunny and a high a few degrees above zero today, but blustery with wind chills to 25 below. Partly cloudy tonight, low 13 below, wind chill to 35 below. And mostly sunny and near zero Sunday, wind chill to 30 below. Bathroom remodels, only $99 a month at BCI Bath and Shower, 800-329-4115. Right now it's 1.
From ABC Sports, I'm Bob Gallerstein. Traditional college football power visiting a traditional basketball power this afternoon. It's an SEC encounter in Lexington, Kentucky. 8th-ranked Wildcats are hosting number 4 Alabama. Kentucky trails the Crimson Tide 84-81 under 4 minutes left. Top-ranked Auburn is leading Georgia 33-27. They're at the half. A final, Creighton upset UConn 68-63. Last minute, Houston leads Central Florida 67-66. And midway through, Kansas leads Kansas State 39-29. NFL denied by the Steelers a request by the Bears to interview Pittsburgh head coach Mike Tomlin. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports a second club was also denied permission. Seems Tomlin has a no-trade clause in his contract. Bears today announced they interviewed Brian Flores for their head coach opening. NFL media says the Cowboys don't have an interview scheduled in the near future with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders. Divisional playoffs start in about 2 hours, with the Chiefs hosting the Texans. MLB converting the Far East to the Near West. Japanese pitcher Roki Sasaki posted yesterday that he will sign with the Dodgers, who now have a murderer's row of starters. That from ESPN's Jeff Passan.
Teams believed that the Los Angeles Dodgers were going to get Roki Sasaki because of a very simple fact. They said, we want to paint Japan Dodger blue. And they went and got Shohei Ohtani, and they got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and all of a sudden, arguably the 3 best Japanese pitchers in the world are in the Los Angeles Dodgers rotation.
It's hockey day in Canada. 6 of the 7 Canadian NHL teams will play each other. The other tilt has Ottawa and Boston. That game will face off in under an hour. One U.S. game is through 2 periods. Devils Flyers tied at 1. Soccer, The Athletic reports Bayern Munich and Canadian national team player Alphonso Davies are close to a new contract. I'm Bob Gallerstein. This is ABC Sports.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
It's all about the pets. Steve Dale's Pet World. Saturday afternoon at 4 on Super Talk, 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
And that's right. We are the Tech Ranch. Alice Anderson in-house as well. We're doing a review of CES 2025. I guess 25 is okay.
I guess it is.
Yeah. And we're just back from that. And we're kind of going through the things that we didn't see, that we wish we did.
Right.
The Dream X50. Did you see this thing?
I don't think so.
So it's a robot vacuum with tiny legs.
Oh, fun.
So it can get up ledges and cross door gaps. Can't do stairs yet.
But that's coming.
But that's interesting that they put the word yet in there, right? So I have a feeling they're working towards this. So the Dream X50 Ultra, which has two short-wheeled legs, can be deployed to surmount very modest obstacles, but like small ledges, a couple of inches high. So if you have like a small step down, step up someplace, whatever it would be, this is a new one that's coming out. It's kind of a steep price for a robot vacuum, $1,700.
Okay, but you think about it.
Although if you order it now before mid-February, because it's coming out in February, there's a $390 off on it.
Okay.
So you could get it for $1,200.
But as soon as it can do steps, we could go to one in our house instead of the 4 we have now.
So that's a very valid point.
Wouldn't
that be something?
I wouldn't have a problem with spending that for one that can do the whole house.
Right.
Versus now we have 4.
Right. And we do replace them probably every couple of years.
Yes, we do.
We're at that point right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them that have to go.
And they're always better. That's the thing. There's like we have the one in the TV room or whatever you want to call that room where we have the loungers and stuff. And it always gets stuck underneath them.
That little idiot gets stuck in the same place every day.
You would think that it would learn to not go there.
Not go there, yeah.
Although I understand it wants to go into there because it's where I sit, and I'm sure there's all kinds of great M&Ms, popcorn, and everything else. So I'm sure it's going after those because those are yummy treats for it to.
Right. Yeah, no, because it gets stuck under the spot where I sit too.
Oh, okay.
Very often. But it's one or the other.
So if you're looking for if you're thinking about getting a new robot vacuum cleaner, the Dream X50, and it's DREAME X50. If you have those ledges and things in your house, and Alice is right, and other people might have this instance too, that because it doesn't go over the edge, right?
Right.
That you need to have 2 of them, even on the same level.
Right.
Because of that. So this would be something I would investigate if I were you. Just, wait or go on their website now. And if you pre-order it now, you get $390 off the price. So something to think about. And I thought it was kind of cool. It's too bad we didn't get to it.
Right.
I know many of you think about this. I think about this all the time. I love solar energy. And if you go to our house, you'll understand that we don't produce our own energy, although I've thought about doing it many times. putting some solar panels up on the house. Even at our building here, I've thought about it many, many times.
I expect we're going to end up with it probably both places.
Probably. I mean, I like this ability to, if there's a blizzard or whatever, that we have a power pack in the house that's not a generator that's, making a lot of noise or whatever. Right. So I like those type of things. But the problem is that they're not the easiest things in the world to install. They're very expensive. And so a lot of people just don't do them because of that. So Zoltux, it's an interesting name for a company, Zoltux.
That's a fun name.
They have created a balcony solar kit.
Okay.
So if you have a balcony on your house, it's an 800 watt panel that can be installed in as little as 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
It's $1,200 for this. It's an 800 watt solar panel you can hang anywhere, using an inverter to feed back into your home energy setup. You theoretically need an interconnection agreement and permission to operate from your local energy company. And there are concerns about just plugging into any old 120 volt home outlet, but that's generally what they're saying, is that you can just set this up in the inverter, and then you plug it into your home. And if you have the kit, then you can actually generate electricity, and then you have an agreement with the power company to get paid for the electricity.
Right.
Okay. I would go one step further and actually have that going to a power wall of some kind. And yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. And then you have, power that you have at the beck and call whenever. And the problem with the power wall, of course, is that that's another $5,000 to $8,000 to install that. This is a $1,200 option. And I'm not sure if our power companies around here, I think they buy back power, but I've never checked into it, so I don't know. But if you're interested in this, and I don't know how much power this would generate, but it would, in a future show, I'll do the ROI on this and find out how much power it generates. In fact, I'll just check out the whole thing, everybody. I'll find out if we can enter into that agreement with your local energy company and see how long it would take in North Dakota to get your money back on this. But a 5-minute setup to start generating power in your backyard and 800 watts is not terrible. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to check this out a little bit further.
I think it sounds really interesting and like a great way to, well, like you said, how long does it take to get your money back?
When you think about
reduce your electric bill.
So we just put this would be another $6,000 or $7,000 to do this with this kit because we want the battery pack. But we have a sauna that we just put on the outside of our house.
Our neighbors are still referring to it as the largest lawn ornament in the neighborhood.
It's not a lawn ornament anymore.
I know, because now it's got electricity and it works.
Yes. But we're going to end up spending about $3,500 when we're all said and done, because we still have to, it's working now, but they kind of set it up in a way that the power is running over the ground until spring, and then they're going to bury the cable.
Then they'll bury the cable, and there's a bunch more money. Yes.
So, if I'd have went this route with this panel and put a battery pack on there, that would then be charged all the time, and then we could use it for other things. It would run the sauna plus maybe some things in our house when we had a power outage.
Right.
So, and it wouldn't have been that much more money. So that's something to think about as well. So check it out, everybody. It's the Soltex Balcony Solar Power Kit.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
And we are back. Thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody. Alice Anderson in the house as well. We're doing our, review of CES.
And all the cool things we saw.
And didn't see.
And all the cool things we missed.
Which is what we're talking about right now. which has been kind of fun, actually. I'm not sure. We'll talk about some of the things we've seen later on. We have a couple of things that we will talk about to you a little later in the show that you'll want to stay tuned for, because these are life-changing things. Jim Silrum will be joining us, too, because we want his opinion on those things, because he was there, too. So
yeah, well, and then, there are just the ones that were fun.
Yes, absolutely.
So we need to talk about some of those.
Yes. So the next one on the list is a favorite of mine as well, and that's autonomous lawnmowers.
Absolutely.
So Alice and I have the Badger that runs around our house now. We interviewed them 2 years ago.
Yes.
And then they were kind enough to let us demo a unit, which has been in our neighborhood. Our neighbors call it
Astro, of course.
Astro. Running around our house all the time. And it's been the talk of the neighborhood for a couple of years, but Astro's now a couple of years old and probably could be retired.
Oh,
I
know.
know. And I've been looking around for which one we should get next. And this one here. So we did an interview with Yarbo.
Yeah.
And I will talk about Yarbo a little bit, but I have to save that for Steve.
Yes, you do, because Yarbo is his thing.
Yes. He's
in love.
He's in love with the Yarbo. But we did an interview with them, and actually what we'll do is when Steve's back, we'll play the interview in its entirety on the show, and then Steve can comment on it. But there were a couple other lawnmowers.
Yes, there were.
That we interviewed, and I forget the name of the one company.
I like that one that was going up the hill like there was nothing to it. That's the one.
And it was kind of a techie design too.
It's pretty cool looking.
And that one actually has an all-wheel drive on it. We did an interview with them as well, and that will be for television too. And so we'll let you all wait on that one. But one we didn't see is it's called the Lymo 1.
Okay.
LYMOY 1. So it's a robo mows your lawn and spits back mulch. So this guy, it actually it mows your lawn. It gnaws most of the detritus. Detritus? It's leaves and branches. That's a fancy word for that. Into lawn food. So it takes even small, what is that tree we have? I shouldn't say it's, like if you have a willow tree, for example, right? It's always got all these little branches that break off in windstorms and stuff, right? My mother has one of these. And this thing will actually gnaw them up, too, and chew them up and make them into lawn mulch.
Well, very cool.
Yes. So
save you all that cleaning up the yard time.
That's exactly right. So your yard, even if you have those type of trees and lawn debris, leaves and things, too, I'm not sure if you want to mulch up all of the leaves in the fall with this machine, but maybe.
Not if you have as many as we have.
Well, that would be challenging because then nothing would grow. But if you just have a small tree in your yard or something that just drops a few leaves, this will just mulch them up for you, and that would be that.
That's pretty cool.
So the Lymo 1, LYMOY 1, might be a nice choice for you. Did you see, speaking of robots again, and I know we talked about robotic vacuum cleaners a little bit ago with the one that has the legs on it. Did you see the one with the arm?
Yes, I did. It was so cool. It was your basic it looked like your basic robot vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
And if it got to something that was in the way, the little arm came up out of it. It reached out. It picked it up. They were showing it with a sock.
Yeah. Socks. Well, that would be, and socks and underwear would be the two things that probably end up on the floor, right?
Right. So when it got to the sock, the arm came out. It picked up the sock and it carried it over to the wall where they had a basket. And it put the sock in the basket. So it would be like, pick up your own socks or I'm going to have to do it for you.
It's pretty fun, actually. And the last thing you want a robot vacuum to do is to roll over a sock and then get it all stuck in everything, right? So this is called the Robo-Rock.
Very cool.
Robo-Rock Saros Z70. So if you like to watch robots work, like mow your yard and vacuum your house, this now adds a whole new element to it.
It absolutely does. It's a whole new level.
I wonder if they have a thing on it, though, so that your cat knows if it's riding around on your vacuum cleaner, that it gives the cat a little nudge or whatever, that the arm's going to come out.
I hope so, because otherwise it's going to knock that cat into next week.
That would be kind of funny, actually. And will that be a thing in the future? And I've wondered about this too, like a robotic vacuum cleaner. And now with this arm that's deploying, will this arm actually start cleaning other things?
Yeah, they weren't talking about anything like that yet this year, but who knows by next year or 2 years from now.
I mean, like the baseboards, right?
Right.
I mean, wouldn't it be nice if there would be like a little Swiffer, thank you.
The arm came out with the Swiffer and cleaned out your baseboards. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. And notice that there's a little cobweb that appeared up on the wall. If it could reach it, it would just clean it off.
That'd be awesome.
So I think that's not far away.
I expect you're probably right, since they've already got this arm that'll come out and pick up that sock.
So that's pretty cool, I think. Let's see. What else did we not see? Well, we didn't see a lot of things at CES, but things that maybe we didn't. Well, that's the end of that one list, I guess. So let's see. I'm trying to remember what else we did see now.
Oh my.
Which is, I don't want to go to, we're waiting on Jim to get here, so I don't want to get to what I thought was our pick, actually, of the best at CES.
How about we talk about the fun stuff?
All right, let's go to the fun stuff.
Okay. Probably the most fun booth we saw, they had 3 kitchen appliances.
Oh, yeah.
The first one.
You're going to run out of time here, so.
Okay, we'll save it.
Wait.
We'll save it.
It's like a cliffhanger, and you want to hear this, everybody.
Absolutely, it's so cool.
These were so awesome, and could potentially save you a lot of time in the kitchen. So
absolutely.
Come on back, everybody.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
And we have Alice Anderson in the house. We are going over CES 2025. We've gone over a few things already, and maybe some things that we wish we would have gotten to see. And Alice said, let's get to the fun stuff. And anyway, so she has her first booth that she wants to talk about of fun things. So, all right, Alice, it's your show.
Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying I didn't buy this.
You had a tough time not buying this.
Well, yeah, because it was so much fun.
I don't think they're out yet, though.
I don't think so either. But
I think it's like March.
I believe so. But this booth had 3 kitchen appliances. The first one, you open it up, you put in 5 potatoes. You close it up and you start it up, and 20 minutes later, it has made mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
It has cooked them and mashed them, and they are ready to eat.
In 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes.
So if I gave you 5 potatoes right now and you would go home and make mashed potatoes from those, how long would that take you to do?
It'll take longer than that because I guess I wouldn't have to peel them, but I peel them, I cut them up, I put them in water, I bring it to a boil. It takes time. It absolutely takes time.
But certainly longer than 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I didn't quite ask all the questions I should have there, but I expect when you put those potatoes in to start the process, you also add the cream and the butter and the whatever you want in your potatoes.
I would guess that too.
So that they're ready to eat when they're done.
Right.
Okay, his second one, you open the top of this, you put in your ingredients, flour, eggs, milk, whatever all you're putting in. And you close it up and you start it. It mixes it and it makes waffles all by itself. It's an automatic waffle maker.
Yeah.
And that one was fast too.
Yeah,
we watched it happen.
Yep.
The third one was, like way intriguing. That's probably the one I'd like to have. You open the top of it, you put in oil, water, and flour. You close it, and it mixes it all up, and it makes little balls of dough, and then it squishes the balls and cooks them, and every 15 seconds you have a fresh tortilla coming out of this machine. Now, how easy is that? We could eat fresh tortillas every day.
Oh, my goodness.
And we would, because we love them.
That's the problem, right? Right. I'd have it down at work and for lunch every day. My goodness.
We'd be having stuff on fresh tortillas every single day. That was probably the most fun booth I saw.
Yeah, I like the tortilla. I mean, I'm fascinated with the mashed potatoes, too. The waffle, not as much, but I could see where people could, because to me, waffles is like you can go buy the batter at a store or whatever. You're giving me that look right now.
No, I can't buy the batter at a store. I make it.
I understand, but I'm just thinking from the convenience for people. You can go buy a pancake batter or a waffle batter or whatever and just mix it with water and do that if you want.
Yes, you can.
So that to me isn't a huge deal, because if you have a waffle machine at home already, you can just buy the pre-made stuff and do it. With the exception that if you have a recipe, you can just put that stuff in there, right? But the other two.
That tortilla maker is my favorite of the three, by far.
Yeah.
Because mashed potatoes, okay, so it takes a little longer, but really. Well, although, if they had the gravy machine, maybe.
That's what I expect next.
Yes, is that next they'll come out with a gravy machine.
Maybe together, it'll make both.
Oh, right? That would be way cool.
Yeah. So it is cool. That was really one of those.
It was a fun thing.
All right. What else did you see that was fun at CES?
Oh, my. What else was really fun? That coffee maker.
Oh.
And that's, it's designed for home, but I just don't see it in a home. It's too huge.
It's a pretty good size machine. It's a robot for making coffee, basically.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
And he did make us a Frappuccino. But even that, to me, Frappuccinos should be thicker than what that machine makes. It was tasty. It was delicious. But it was, not as thick as I like a Frap.
And it wasn't a Keurig type of scenario.
Oh, heavens no.
I mean, this is like ground beans and the whole bit. So this is like fresh coffee that they're making the stuff out of for you.
And it tasted like it. It was very good. So yeah, that was a fun one too.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see, what else did we interview that was really fun?
Well, they were all kind of fun, I guess.
Well, yeah, in one way or another.
It's just, but do you consider this fun or a medical breakthrough or whatever,
Well, and for me, the fun usually revolves around food.
Right.
Something for the kitchen.
Right.
That's the stuff I lean to. We all know it.
Right. What about the photograph thing? We were in the Netherlands.
That was pretty
pavilion.
Cool. Yes.
And they were, like every year when we go down to the Netherlands, they're always so excited to see us. They think we're big rock stars there, I think,
They like us a lot.
They do. For whatever reason, we have, if you're ever in the podcasting and radio and television world, there always seems to be these little niches of people that, it's like David Hasselhoff is I can't even say his name right today because of my wonderful voice. But he, wasn't really a big rock star in the United States, but in Germany, however.
Oh, they love him.
Oh, yeah. For whatever reason, we're the David Hasselhoffs.
Hasselhoff.
Thank you.
David Hasselhoff.
I can't say his name today. Hasselhoff.
You're getting closer.
It's just the way that my throat is right now. That's crazy. Anyway, of the Netherlands in tech, I guess. This one guy comes up to me right away and he's like, I love you. I watch your show all the time. In the Netherlands? That's just kind of funny. But anyway, that picture thing was really cool.
Was very cool.
Yeah. And I'm looking at you to try to explain it, but it's kind of this frame thing that you put up on your wall. But it's like
it's customizable.
Right. And then you can put like different sizes photos, so it's a collage.
Right.
And then you can just mix and match it all the time without putting a bunch of tape on the wall or whatever. And you can order the different sizes of photos from off of your phone to make this collage up all the time. That can be changed whenever you want.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, kind of cool. Picto. Might have been called Picto.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
we came home with some of those that we're going to put up on the wall.
If you go to the Tech Ranch, by the way, we haven't had time to do this yet, but sometime in the very near future, we'll have a list of all the places that we visited and their links and all that stuff. So, this is just, we're just teasing everybody today with the things that we saw. What else did we see in the Netherlands that was, the deep fake one?
That was way interesting.
Yes, it was. And after we come back from the break, everybody, we'll talk about how this technology determines whether or not you're looking or watching a deep fake.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
And we're reviewing what we saw at CES, everybody. Alice Anderson in house as well. And again, we apologize that we're not at 100%. Our voices are very, very strained. You might even hear us occasionally wheeze, cough, whatever.
Try not to.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. We picked up what's lovingly called the CES crud every year. We've been pretty fortunate over the years not to get it every year.
Right.
This is, I think, the worst though for us. I don't ever remember actually having to stay in bed after CES for a couple of days.
It's the first time. Well, no, you did a couple years ago.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah, you came home with COVID.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I had contracted COVID at CES a couple of years too.
You did. I did not.
Yeah.
But
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, when you put a few 100,000 people together, it's just a petri dish. And they're from around the world.
Right. So they bring it from everywhere.
Yeah. And there was actually, you think about 2020, not to get into the show a little bit, but in 2020, there was like the first cases of COVID. Not really, I mean, people were reporting it, but they hadn't actually determined what this was yet. And then CES went on. And then, of course, the whole country was shut down by, the first part of March of that year. And, I mean, even some of the crud that I'm sure was shared at CES, I would say that may have been the basis for some of the first COVID cases in the country.
I'm sure it was.
Because I know there are people that I've talked to that went home from that and said, we had something that we didn't even know what we had,
right,
type of thing. And when you think about all the people from all over the world that come from that, to that show, it's just one of those things. So, but anyway, that's the downside of CES, I guess, is that. And I don't know how you combat that. It would be interesting. Maybe there should be some technology that we all walk through that
sanitizes all our germs.
And then, they have some of that stuff already. But maybe some detection type of thing, like, no, you're sick. You're sick. You should not be here type of thing, right? That would be interesting. And maybe there'll be something along that in the future.
It could happen.
Somebody invent that, please. All right. So we were in the Netherlands and we ran across this very unassuming young lady.
Yes.
She looked kind of out of place in there, actually.
She really did, because she didn't really have much of anything. Those people don't have a full booth, but it's more a stand within the large area.
Right, a pavilion type of scenario. Right, yeah. And they all come as a group, and so the Netherlands will come and buy, 100 by 100 space or something like that.
Right.
And then within that, they'll break it down to however they want it to be, right? So, yes, that's how that is. And then, so we run across this young lady, and she wasn't very outspoken either, which is very unusual at CES. Everybody has especially when you have a camera crew following you, they're like hungry dogs sometimes.
A lot of them are, because they'll come and like grab me and say, can you please come interview us next? Here's what I have.
Right.
Okay.
And if we did that to everybody, we would never leave that one space.
Right.
Because it's
constant.
Yes, exactly. So for us to kind of wander into her in this sea of people trying to get our attention was really interesting. And even interviewing her, it took a little while for her to kind of warm up.
Yes.
But once you started to understand what she had developed and why she was there, was quite awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So she has developed a way, an algorithm or whatever you want to call it, that can detect whether the video, audio, whatever you're doing, and they're called deep fakes, right? So if you watch something with President Biden and President Trump together in there and they're talking about stuff and you're like, when did they talk about the trip that they took to whatever together? And you're like, there's no way that this can be real, but a lot of people, and that's the problem with deep fakes, is that people will start sharing them out and do all this other stuff because they look so real.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can take President Biden and President Trump and literally make them say anything you want nowadays.
Yeah.
Without not even much knowledge of how it works anymore. It used to be something that was basically reserved for Hollywood. And now with a couple dollars, and when I say a couple dollars, I mean, I'm sure $50 to $100 would buy you any software that you need to make these things happen now. And then you can put them out there and people will watch them. They'll consume them. They'll share them. They'll comment on them. They'll do all this other stuff thinking that they're real. And then they'll share, and then sometime in the future it'll come out that it was a fake. But most of the people they're already moved on to something else.
Yeah.
And they're not paying attention to that anymore. The problem is that if you share this type of stuff, and this is what I warn people all the time, that your own personal reputation is on the line too. So you should take the time to, if you're going to share something that's politically motivated or whatever, you should take the time to understand whether or not it's real or not.
Right.
So her invention at CES was about the detection of these deep fakes. And I believe that her approach to it hopefully will be utilized by social media and other places in the near future.
I hope so, because it's so hard to tell what's real and what's not.
It really is. And there was one other really cool thing before we went into the Netherlands, right?
Absolutely. That was the hollow port.
Yeah. So I have not seen, because I actually did it.
I got to watch it.
So why don't you explain to everybody what this is?
I think you will explain it better than I could, but
all right.
I know you can.
Well, it's basically like a 6-foot rectangle box.
Right.
And it looks like the person that you're talking to is standing there.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Did it look like I was standing there?
It did. It looked like you were standing right there.
So you can do this anywhere in the world. You have one of these boxes, and then basically what I did is I went into another part of CES.
Right.
And then they basically beamed me over.
Yeah,
And then I was just saying hi to everybody as they were walking by or whatever.
All you said was beam me up, Scotty, and he did.
It is quite remarkable how realistic it looks. It looks like you're like a 3D person.
It did.
And that you're just standing there.
Well, and you weren't just standing, you were moving. We could watch all of it and see you and hear you, and it was way cool.
And Jim Silverum is here, and he'll be on next.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
And now, time for this week's edition of Ranching Issues. Here's Neil Roberts.
Welcome to our first edition of Ranching Issues for 2025. Our guest this week is NDSU forage specialist James Rogers from the North Central Research Center. And James, keeping your cattle herd healthy is vital year-round, particularly this time of year. And something hitting headlines right now is the nitrate issue. Tell us more about that.
Thanks, Neil. Well, a lot of cow herds have moved close to home and are in a dry lot period till the grazing season returns in the spring. That means that they're being fed hay that was harvested sometime at this growing season, and that forage content or that hay content may have higher levels of nitrate than we want. Nitrate is something we can't see, we can't smell. The only way to know what those levels are is to test.
All right, good stuff. Hey, we'll have more on nitrate when we come back.
Slim Chickens makes it easy to feed your hungry crowd. Fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, and all the southern sides made fresh for you. It's easy. Just order on the Slim's app or website and leave everything to us. You can get it delivered right to your door. Any party, any size. Slim's has your crowd covered. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
It's easy to put off saving for retirement, but it can be even easier than you think to start. And once you do, you can feel more confident about your future. As a financial professional of Thrivent, let me help you define your financial goals and take realistic steps to help you reach them. It comes down to making choices about your money that match your values, because even small steps can get you where you want to go. Contact me, financial associate Andy Laris, at 701-509-5794.
Talking nitrate issues with James Rogers today on Ranching Issues. And James, how about some management strategies here?
So as I mentioned earlier, if we test that hay and know what the concentration levels are, that gives us some management power to deal with it. Sometimes it's so high that we can't really use that hay, but that's a good thing. If we know that we have an issue and we can't use it, that's better than losing some cattle at the prices they are right now. If it's at a management level, we can dilute it. We can feed a grain to help dissipate some of the nitrates in the rumen. We can feed a probiotic. Another point is to make sure if you have high testing nitrates or nitrate levels at a certain point, that your water source also doesn't have levels of nitrate that just further compound that problem. It is an issue this year. We have heard of folks losing cattle, so test that forage.
Good stuff, James. That brings this report to a close. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Ranching Issues, brought to you in part by Andy Laris, your Thrivent financial advisor in Minot, by Slim Chickens of Minot, and by Bremer Bank. Contact Bremer for your egg banking solutions.
This is the Pet Minute. I'm Steve Dale with animal news from around the world. Next, Boehringer Ingelheim Animal Health wants you to know that your dog can be at risk of heart disease. By screening for a heart murmur, abnormal heart rhythm, or heart enlargement, your veterinarian will be able to diagnose and possibly treat these signs earlier. There are medications that can help delay the onset of congestive heart failure or manage the symptoms of heart failure once diagnosed. Talk with your veterinarian to see if your dog is at risk and schedule that ever-important annual exam. Early detection is best. When threatened, pufferfish puff up into a ball to appear larger and spines protrude. If that's not enough to deter enemies, they release a neurotoxin potent enough to kill a person. However, young male dolphins toss pufferfish like a volleyball back and forth, and to control just the right amount of neurotoxin to escape, and they get high. No wonder they keep at it. For the Pet Minute, I'm Steve Dale.
I don't even remember what the Tesla question was anymore. You know this, right? I'll think about it a little bit more. We're going to run out of time today.
I know they're losing money in Germany. I know
they are. Well, this is just so fascinating, this rabbit hole we went down. So number 8 on the list is the Atlas Agile Parker robot. So this robot has AI built into it. You've probably seen this one running around. It kind of looks like a spaceman, actually. It's got this pack on the back, and then it's so agile, right? It just wanders.
Shifty.
And
it's wily.
This guy can just do a lot of warehouse work and that type of thing. It looks at like what's going on around it and actually intelligently decides that that's a chair, that's a platform. I can walk up these stairs. It does all this stuff. It figures it out on its own. So it doesn't have to be pre-programmed like a lot of these have to be, right? So that's interesting. I'm It's been around for a while. Atlas has been around for a while and continues to get better and better and better every year. It's really, really, really fascinating to watch that one go. The reason I'm going over this quickly, because I know we were going to run out of time, but number 9, it's going to be one of your favorites. It's SnakeBot.
What?
SnakeBot, life-saving robot. So, your SnakeBot.
Okay.
It looks like a snake, right? SnakeBot is a snake. Is a SnakeBot. I love this, right? Its name is actually what it is. With a length of 7.9 meters.
That's long.
So a meter is like a little over 3 feet. So if this is 8 times 3 is 24 feet long. Oh my goodness. And a thickness of 2.5 centimeters. It focuses more on the search part. It relies on motor-driven nylon bristles to push its body forward. The speed is not fast, about 5 centimeters per second, but it can turn at small angles, climb up slopes at 20 degrees, and squeeze into narrow seams. It uses a camera eye to capture images and send them back to let rescuers know what's going on inside the disaster area.
Collapsed buildings, cave-ins.
All these things are
all of that.
Little tiny spaces that it can get into.
That's cool. That's a cool one.
That really is a cool one.
Yeah, when you mentioned the SnakeBot, though, I was thinking, it's like, why hasn't somebody come up with technology? Because you've been to Florida. Have you been to the Everglades? And,
yeah.
And I was reading
2 weeks ago.
I was reading a story about.
See my gator out? My gator?
I did. And I was reading a story about there's no more warm-blooded mammals.
Oh, yeah.
Native in the Everglades because of the snakes.
Yeah.
And now they're crossbreeding with other things. So there's another snake that they breed with that it's a mean one and very aggressive. And now you've got that big giant and a mean big giant. Another movie coming up.
A zebra's got out in Washington, right?
I saw that.
Yeah. And I guess Sasquatch is taking care of it.
Oh, there we go.
Hopefully they're not too lonely. Because the crossbreeding there would be a striped Sasquatch. I'm not sure it would be able to hide much anymore.
Probably not.
I put that out as a meme last night.
But why wouldn't somebody come up with a snake hunter robot?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Why not?
I think the flame-throwing dog would be great.
I think the flame-throwing dog would be awesome for that.
Actually, the one with lasers would be better.
Well, whatever.
Just zero in on it and not have to worry about burning everything else up. Right?
Yeah.
It's a great idea, actually.
Or Jamocha. Or whatever.
Yeah, any of them. Even the snake could take out the pythons.
Yeah. Go kill all these snakes that are...
Yeah, just the pythons.
Just the pythons. You could program it for that.
You have to humanely kill the pythons. They have a bounty on them right now, but I don't know what that means. I guess you can't shoot them.
What? That's like the quickest, humanest way to...
I had to look into this a little bit more. Because we were just down there and they were talking about that you have to, there's like, you catch them and you drop them someplace and they take care of them for you. I don't know what that means, but the last thing I want to do is
problem. You need to solve it.
The last thing I want to do is transport 20 pythons. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
At 20 feet? No.
Yeah. That actually sounds way more dangerous to me than actually anything else. So 10 on the list. The Sony Aibo, AIBO, your immortal pet. Aibo has a camera on its nose that can be used for facial recognition, a camera on its buttocks for drawing maps, and 22 freely movable joints allowing it to move.
A camera on its butt.
That's correct.
Drawing maps.
Yep.
What is it, drawing a map on the carpet that it drug it?
Like a real puppy.
Like a real dog.
Its eyes are made of OLED screens to express a variety of emotions through eye changes. So the eyes are actually little screens that can project emotion. Aibo will record the owner's behavior habits and then analyze and display its own behavior. That is to say, as the owner spends more time with the pet, it will gradually develop its own personality. So you will become your pet. It's
Battlestar Galactica. They came up with Boxy because all the Daggets were destroyed. They didn't bring any Daggets with them on the ship. They needed Daggets for...
Aibo's memory and soul are recorded on the cloud. So Aibo will never die in a mental way. because it's all recorded.
But it's a robot. So just fix it if a part breaks, right?
Well, I mean, if it got run over or something, I suppose we wouldn't want to fix it, but its memory would live on forever because it's all recorded in the cloud.
Transfer it to the next.
That's exactly what I would do. Yeah. Yep. Interesting, right? Sophia. Are you familiar with Sophia?
No.
She's the first robot with citizenship.
What?
Sophia is a humanoid robot developed in Hong Kong based Hanson Robotics. She is invented to learn and adapt to human behavior.
How did it get citizenship? Did they bring it over to Mexico and let it come across the border?
Sophia became a citizen of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
And she was the world's first robot to be granted citizenship.
You can't make this up.
Can't make it up. Just can't make it up. Then number one on the list, because we're finally getting there, is the M-Bot Ultimate. M-Bot Ultimate is a 10-in-1 robot kit for robotics, building, engineering, and programming learning. M-Bot Ultimate is compatible with Raspberry Pi and Arduino.
Ooh, I like
it. Allows you to create different projects like driving, picking up objects, and shooting balls, and even playing games through M-Bot. So M-Bot is a kit. I'll show you the picture right here. So you can get the kit.
Number 5 isn't line.
Looks like
that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And then you can get the kit, bring it home, and then build your own robot. Kids love M-Bot, by the way.
That's a cool piece.
Yeah.
How much is that?
M-Bot Ultimate, $375.
So it's cheaper than the dog.
That's true.
I wonder if you can get it with a flamethrower.
Interesting.
Now, you were told you couldn't get the flamethrowing dog, but nobody said anything about a flamethrowing.
Right.
Yeah. Yarbo?
I suppose they don't want me to flamethrowing because I burnt down the place today.
Maybe.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. That polar plunge descending on the country, already forcing the presidential inauguration indoors Monday and prompting cold weather alerts for tens of millions of Americans. ABC meteorologist Samara Theodore.
It's feeling like minus 50 in some spots in the plains. 4 degrees is what it will feel like at the time of inauguration. No wonder they had to move it indoors. Tuesday, still just as cold, bitter, biting cold, making its way as far south as Atlanta.
Helping battle the Eaton wildfire in Southern California, firefighters from the Navajo Nation. With calmer winds, the Eaton fire now but 73% contained. 43% on the Palisades fire. President-elect Trump telling ABC News he'd likely give TikTok a 90-day extension to avoid a U.S. ban on the app. Unclear if the president would have the authority to do that after Congress passed and the Supreme Court upheld the ban, which begins tomorrow. This is ABC News. There has been a development in last summer's killing of a Springfield, Illinois woman by a sheriff's deputy. ABC's Richard Cantu has more.
The Justice Department and Sangamon County, Illinois sheriff concluded a memorandum of understanding in the Sonia Massey case. She'd called 911 last July 6th, suspecting a prowler was in her home. Responding deputy Sean Grayson shot Massey dead, claiming she threatened him with a pot of boiling water. The memorandum stipulates federal authorities found no discriminatory practices by the county. Local authorities pledge a series of remedies. Sean Grayson was fired and is jailed on a first-degree murder charge. Richard Cantu, ABC News.
And 2 prominent hardline judges were assassinated in Tehran today, according to Iran's semi-official Fars news agency. A gunman fatally shot the 2 judges. One of them was supposedly notorious for handing down harsh sentences. Dave Packer, ABC News.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly sunny and a high a few degrees above zero today, but blustery with wind chills to 25 below. Partly cloudy tonight, low 13 below, wind chill to 35 below. And mostly sunny and near zero Sunday, wind chill to 30 below. Bathroom remodels, only $99 a month at BCI Bath and Shower, 800-329-4115. Right now, it's zero.
From ABC Sports, I'm Bob Gallerstein. The college football blue blood defeated the basketball blue blood. Fourth-ranked Alabama went into Lexington, Kentucky. Crimson Tide topped the Wildcats 102-97 in regulation. Alabama's Grant Nelson, 25 points, 11 boards. Creighton upset UConn 68-63. Houston edged Central Florida 69-68. Last minute, top-ranked Auburn is leading Georgia 69-62. Also the last minute, Kansas 79, Kansas State 72. At the half now, Xavier is leading Marquette 35-24. Aussie Open defending men's champion Yannick Sinner advanced in straight sets. Holger Rune needed 5 sets to advance. American Madison Keys defeated American Daniel Collins in straight sets. Collins booed when leaving the court. 4th seed Jasmine Paolini ousted by 28th seed Elena Svitolina. NFL divisional playoffs will kick in about 1 hour among the Chiefs inactives J.J. Taylor and Devin White. Cowboys today completed an in-person head coach interview with Robert Saleh. ESPN reports the Bears and another team were denied permission to speak with Mike Tomlin about their head coach opening. Tomlin has a no-trade clause with the Steelers. NHL Flyers 2 third-period goals defeated the Devils 3-1. It happened only 19 previous times in NHL history. Number 19 last night in Buffalo.
2:50 to go in regulation. Stretched up ahead. Sabres take it into the Penguin zone. Rung along the boards for Nedeljkovic. He sends it on down. On its way towards the empty net. It's a goalie goal! Alex Nedeljkovic with a Lambo leap into his own bench. And the Penguins take a 5-2 lead here in Buffalo.
Call on the Penguins radio network. Nedeljkovic also the first goalie ever to record a goal and an assist in the same game. I'm Bob Gallerstein. This is ABC Sports.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start your
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
News, talk, and sports for Bismarck, Mandan. Super Talk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
And fortunate for you, not so much for me, Jim Silrum is here. And I'm kidding, Jim.
I am in shock, Marlo.
I'm excited for you to be here. He hung out with me for a whole week at CES.
I thought I was hanging out with Alice.
Yeah.
And a good time was had by all.
Indeed, but
the probably the thing that I really, today I wish I was you, because somehow or another you have escaped the CES crud that we also lovingly caught while we were there.
I say it's because he ate bananas every day.
Was that the trick?
Was smarter than the rest of us.
Honestly, I needed potassium because I was getting leg cramps from it being so dry down there. So that's why I ate a banana.
I see. Well, maybe
it was either that or the beer.
Oh, well, that's true.
That prevented him from getting it.
Anyway.
Or was it the whiskey?
Maybe all of it, yeah.
Could have been that, too.
So, first of all, it was your first CES.
Correct.
And you didn't even get close to seeing all of it because we hung out in the Venetian Sands the entire time. But I would like to have, as a first-timer to CES, your impression of it.
Well, my impression was that tripod that we carried around for the camera was heavy.
Okay.
But it was impressive when you think of how large that one floor where your tower was. That was, I would bet, larger than that room alone was larger than the convention center here in Bismarck.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a floor below that and a floor above that. And that was just at the Venetian Hotel. It didn't even account for what went on over at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I can only imagine what was in there. And that convention center, I personally have never seen one as large. It took us a long time to drive around the perimeter of it, let alone get in there.
Yep. So visually speaking, I mean, was it like being a kid in a candy store if you're a techie, or I mean, how did you feel about that, I guess?
It had a tendency to feel overwhelming at first because there was just so much, but I thought they did a really good job of putting like groups or like industries in the same area. So, for example, AERP had all age-related tech in a large area that they were in, and all of the AI-powered stuff was in another area, and all of the personal care tech was in another area. So it really, once you got the hang of it, it helped you out. However, if you went downstairs one way and came up through another stairs, it was pretty easy to get lost. And I would not be surprised, folks, if Marlo hasn't already told stories about me getting lost, Alice and I getting lost.
He didn't say a word, and now you threw us both under the bus.
Actually, I will be up front. I came up those stairs at one time too, and we've been in there many, many times. I had no clue, zero clue where I was standing.
Well,
so there you go.
I should have known that I had no clue, but I was dead sure we needed to go that way, and I was going completely the wrong direction.
And of course, when we got there right away, the tower that we are in to broadcast from has been in one location for quite a few years. And
ever since we started at that building.
Yeah. And they said that it was just a little ways down from that. So I just assumed it was on the same wall. So we headed down over there. And of course, we're lugging all the equipment. And we get down there and we're like, and it's a tower. It actually is above everything else in there. Although there's a lot of noise, even visually. So it's tough to see through everything. But yeah, after a little bit, we're like, no. So then I call and I find out it's literally on the opposite end of the hall. And I drug all of you guys through the entire hall to get to the tower so we could turn around and go back the other way.
What was worse, folks, is Marlo, and I'm saying Marlo, sent me off looking for water for us on the first day.
In the media room.
To find the media room and go for water. He said, I think it's that way. And he pointed me in this direction that was exactly the opposite way to go. And I walked the entire span of the exterior wall of that building, finally got to the media room, which was literally feet from where our tower was.
I didn't think you had enough steps that day. That's all.
Yeah, thanks. And
did you notice? I think you'd mentioned something about your step count that day. It was 5,000 more than mine. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that's because I've got shorter legs than you do.
I think it's because you went on this goose chase.
So Alice must have had much more steps than we did.
Yeah.
But Alice had probably less, though, because she knew where she was going. Because when I got into the media room, there she is, and she says, "Oh, don't need to bring water. We have water bottles right there in our booth,
right behind us."
Yeah.
So. Thanks, Marlo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You wanted a half hour without me, right?
I just think you needed to take a tour of the building is all. So anyway, outside of all the fun, and we're going to run out of time in this segment here, but Jim probably, so we're going to save our best pick of CES for the last segment today, just so that you know. So don't give that away while we're talking. But we have about a minute left here. Give me one booth that we did an interview in that you really enjoyed.
That we did interview in? Okay.
Yes.
Well, actually, if I may, I'm going to tell the folks about a booth that we didn't interview. But after our 45 segments that we did, I got to go and experience. I got to go and experience a massage chair that was on display there, and that was a half an hour of bliss.
Really?
Absolutely. I almost bought one while I was there.
And it was $18 or what?
It was $12,000, but they were willing to give it to me for $7,500.
What a deal!
What a deal is right. Yeah.
And we're back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And welcome back to the Tech Ranch, everybody. Alice Anderson in the house, and Jim Silrum has now joined us as well. We are talking about CES 2025. And Jim, you're going to have much of the show for the rest of the way because they've heard about all of our shenanigans already. The one booth that I am excited that both of you are here to talk about now is the water booth.
One of my favorites.
So why don't you both talk about, we all drink water and we all have filtered water and all this other stuff. Why is this booth so special?
Because they are making water out of air.
Now,
okay, just think about that for a second.
Yes.
First guy I talked to told me he's got this in his house and it makes 5 gallons of water every day. Now, the really incredible part about that is he lives in Arizona in the desert and he's getting 5 gallons of water a day out of this thing.
Right. And other than that, they had created, they've created a coffee maker out of this thing too, right?
No, it is not a coffee maker, but what they're doing is making the water to make the coffee.
Oh, I see. So what was your take on this, Jim?
Well, honestly, my first reaction was, so how is this different from a dehumidifier that you may have in your home? And so I was really asking questions along those lines. But in addition to removing the water from the air, it purifies the water, so it's the best kind of drinking water or water you could possibly have because it's super filtered. It's has none of the additives that are in our drinking water, that comes out of the tap, that sort of thing. So it's a pretty cool device, and you can have various sizes, ones that make, like Alice said, 5 gallons a day, or just some that, will fill your drinking bottle and that sort of thing. So it's some pretty cool tech, considering it's that much more than just a dehumidifier.
And I think that one of the things that there's a lot of places that it would be difficult to install, like a drinking fountain, or if you wanted to have bottled water, like a 5-gallon, like the drinking water cooler type of thing. Challenging for some places, like in a golf club or a golf course, for example, right? I mean, a person or the golf club itself could maybe even have drinking stations set up, wandering through and a lot of them do, but they have to restock them all the time and things like that. So this would be a very convenient way to never, ever have to restock any of those type of things, because it's just always making water.
Right. And then there was that other little water one where you take the water that's coming out of your tap and put it in, and it tells you what is wrong with your water, and it cleans it up, and you could get out a glass of just purified water, or you could have it be sparkling water, or you could have flavored water. They had flavor pouches that you could add.
Was that the same company?
No.
Oh, okay.
This was the little one.
Okay.
So advances in water, in having great water in your house. You don't just have to have a Brita sitting on your counter anymore.
Right. I like going back to the other one, though, I like that ability to just have water wherever you need it. And if you have, maybe you have a gold pond or a goldfish pond in your backyard, and you just need to have, because they use water up all the time, right? So if you just want to just top it off, if you have, I think there's just a lot of places, you could be really creative with this thing and have it all go into a storage tank or something, and then you have a way to water all your plants once a day, or I don't know. I mean, I think there's just so many convenient. You have, you have a garden that's remote and you don't have water, or maybe you want to plant a garden over here, but there's no water to this thing, right? You could have this thing making water all the time for you and use it when you need to. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
It's just a great idea.
Yeah. Jim's going, yep, haven't thought of that. It's way too far-fetched. Why don't we just take water there? But I don't know.
Have you heard of a hose?
Well, yes.
Good answer, Jim.
But I just think about, I know people. We have areas around town here too where, you can kind of rent a spot to put your garden up, right? And they usually have water at these places, but I know people who live out of town a little ways too that probably, if they had a water source, would do something similar. I mean, I have some friends that garden in a farmstead, for example, or on some land, and they don't have water that runs out there. They truck water out to their garden,
Well, and another thing to think about is North Dakota has done really well at bringing rural water to pretty much as much of the residents as possible.
Right.
But for years, my in-laws, the farm that they lived on, their water was not really the best for drinking, that sort of thing. So every time they would come to our house, they would bring 5-gallon buckets and jugs and fill up in the tap. Something like this would mean that they wouldn't have to.
Right. You're right. I mean, they kind of talked about that too, these places that have this. And then, or have bad quality water in their well or whatever.
Well, they talked about some countries where the water coming out of the tap is brown.
Right.
And this cleans it up.
I remember that as a kid, actually. Many places where I lived had people who had brown water or whatever. So.
Oh, absolutely. In one of the houses I lived lived in out of college was just out of town, and I have blonde hair, and I remember that my hair actually turned a shade of orange.
Oh my!
Because of the iron that was in the water, and this was in Minnesota. So, it's Minnesota. It's not North Dakota.
Okay,
we're much better.
Yes, we are. We are.
So yes, there are all kinds of places, and for most people, it's for drinking water, it's for making coffee, it's for making Kool-Aid for the kids, it's doing sports drinks that come from powder, that sort of thing. This is where it would be really truly helpful.
Absolutely, so much so that we have one coming to our shop. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
Welcome back, everybody. Alice Anderson in-house and Jim Silrum has joined us. Both are often guests. I'm going to just call you often guests now on the show. Not regular contributors or anything, just often guests. Okay.
Whatever.
We're just having too much fun. Hey, we're talking about CES 2025. We all were in attendance. Jim was the grip. Isn't that what that's called? The grip?
Yeah.
Did you have gripper's tape?
No, I did not.
Then are you officially a grip if you don't have the tape to back up the title?
Our videographer was not willing to allow me to have control of the tape. He kept it for himself, and I don't know whether he saw something. It didn't see something in me or saw something in me, or he was just really a controlling individual.
I see. So no grip tape for you. All right. So anyway, but we did have a good time. Jim, we're going to take the last segment today to talk about our top pick, and that's one segment away. So tell me, what other things did you see at CES that you think would be of interest to others?
Well, actually, I think our first segment that we did at CES is I really love playing darts. And there was a company there from England that has developed with a regular cork dartboard and a 4-camera system. They're able to, with playing with metal tip darts like you'd find in a bar in England, or a pub, I should say, where you can have the scoring done on your mobile device, but also you're able to play anyone around the world at the same time who has that same technology. So you could really play darts with somebody in England if you're both doing playing darts at the same time, and so it shows you, the dart player, throwing the darts. It shows the darts and where they mark for both yourself and for your opponent, wherever they may be. And I had an affinity for this one, obviously, because I like playing darts, but also because I had just read a story about a 17-year-old kid who is in England, who's just been named the #1 sports figure in England, or in Great Britain, actually. And he's a 17-year-old dart player who is now ranked #4 in the world at 17 years old. And he's playing in all these places where he can't even buy a beer, but he's playing there in these, and people are wanting to play against him because the ratings are so high for him on social media and all of this, that just by playing him, they get more attention. So if they can beat him, great. But anyhow, he's he is sponsored by this organization, and he does all of his practicing on this kind of dartboard. So I thought it was kind of cool that this company from England came over and was showing off their new device, which I think would work well in any. It could work in home, but I can see it in bars around town that have dartboards, kind of like where you have golf simulators in some of those bars. You would have essentially, it's not a dart simulator, it's actually playing darts, but you could have competitions all around the world for this. So
it would be fun to actually and I'm not a dart player. I mean, I've played occasionally. But you can compete as teams, right? So you and Alice could be a team against a team in England, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that would be a lot of fun to do then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Marlo always teases me because I think we've shown up at the same bar once, and he goes, never trust a guy who brings his own darts to, but yeah, I wouldn't play with, darts that weren't my own because they're weighted to my liking and all of that. So this is a very professional bit of technology that has taken a ages old sport and put it into, our century.
And I love
making it plastic.
I love it, actually. I think it's really great. Anything else that you saw that you were blown away by?
Well, I'm fearful that my number one is also going to be the number one of maybe one or two of or both of you, but so I'll save that one.
Okay.
But we did 45 segments there.
And it doesn't have to be something that we did a segment on. It's just something that you've seen just wandering around too.
Yeah. I'll be honest, there were, if I can speak candidly here, there were some things that we interviewed that I said, it doesn't appeal to me in the least.
Yep.
And I think maybe you guys have already talked about this, but there was a coffee machine there or a latte maker that I have a fairly large kitchen in my house, but I would have to build an extra counter just to contain that. And I thought, the guy who was demonstrating it did a really fantastic job, but that technology isn't going to go anywhere.
Right. And you'll see that. That's to me the wonders of CES, though. You get to see this technology, and then next year they might show up with the thing half the size.
Let's hope so.
Because
it's going to need to get like a third the size before it's worth anything, and it's you had to clean it after every cup of coffee,
right?
Which who's going to do that,
right? Yeah, so, but that's the whole. That's what's, I think, when you get to CES, you're hoping that you'll get some investment. That's, I'm sure, what they were after.
Sure.
And somebody will come along and say, hey, we do this, but you need to get this so it's more manageable in size. And by the way, this has to be self-cleaning or nobody's going to do this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I did get to do that you two did not is I got to go to the Sphere. And it was kind of like a Delta Airlines employee show, but
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we are back at the Tech Ranch. Everybody, Alice Anderson, Jim Silrum here. Jim, I so impolitely cut you off.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
so much.
Welcome. Actually, it was the time we had to go. But you were talking about your experience at the Sphere.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was kind of a Delta Airlines annual employee meeting, but some of the things that Delta Airlines is going to do this next year is pretty cool. They're significantly updating their Fly Delta app. So it's going to do more than just be able to allow you to check in for your flights like it does now and that sort of thing. It actually is going to integrate with essentially road reports, so you can pick the fastest route to the airport, leaving your hotel or leaving your home to get to the airport. And then they're also announcing partnerships with Uber. So Uber is going to be connected in their app. They're also working with a company that I think you've heard of or know, Marlo. It's called Jobo, which is going to be electric air taxis that look like the one they were showing off had probably 4 or 5 props on it that were but it would meet you at your hotel. It would take you to the airport, and so you could bypass all that traffic.
Yeah. A flying car.
Yeah. Delta is doing a number of things like that. They even had Tom Brady there because he's got a wellness service that is being added to their app, so you can learn how to beat jet lag and stay hydrated and good with nutrition. So I think Delta is really doing some cool things. But then we also got to see Lenny Kravitz there.
Yeah, that was okay too, right?
Yeah.
And this public service announcement has been brought to you by Delta and Jim Sorum. So anyway, thanks, Jim, for the update there.
And by the way, we flew Allegiant.
Too funny. All right, so here we are. We're at the end of the show. I've been teasing the entire time about our number one picks of the show. And are you and I going to be on the same page, Alice? All right.
We are.
All right, so I don't know who Jim is going to pick yet. So we'll start with Jim then as far as what you think is the best thing you saw at the show this year.
Well, for me, it had to be something that I think will come in the area of age tech and health tech. Is it the same thing?
I don't know. We'll find out. Probably.
There is a company called MindMike that.
So that's crazy. All three of us have picked the same thing as well here. So all right. So talk about MindMike.
They have developed the software that can be eventually put into any type of earbud, whether it's Galaxy Buds like I have or whatever kind you have. This technology, the software that's in it will not only play the sound for you, but will also listen to the sounds of your body. And first, they're starting with the sounds that your heart makes, and by doing that and monitoring that, they can determine when your heart is sounding different than it normally does, and with that, you can get a notification that, hey, maybe you should call your doctor, and then your doctor is able to listen to it as well, and your doctor can say, I need to see you, I need to, you can get the treatment earlier than you might, other than when, let's say, you've got jaw pain or you've got left arm pain and you feel like an elephant is sitting on your chest and maybe I'm having a heart attack.
Right.
So I think that's just the cusp of what they're going to be able to do, because they said that your body organs make all different kinds of sounds. Your body is a very noisy.
That's what she talks about all the time, how noisy the body actually is.
And so they're going to be able to do a lot of advances in medical health through this, which is going to really help in remote locations. Like if you are a farmer or a rancher and you're obviously not living next door to a hospital, you could have intervention or knowledge of what's happening in your body sooner through this technology.
Right. Alice, your take on it?
I have to agree with everything Jim is saying, because it gives you that early warning sign that something is different today than what it should be or than what is normal for your body. Because that's what it does, is it compares what's going on today to what has been going on. And you just never know when something's going to change and not be great. So having something like that should prevent a lot of problems for a lot of people.
I was surprised when she brought up how noisy our eyelids are.
I know, that's kind of a weird one.
I mean, she talked a lot. Dr. Annie, or was it Annie or Anna?
I think it was Annie.
Okay. She's the gal behind this. She's been working on it for a few years now. And Mindmikes is the name of the company. And again, it just integrates into any earbud. So it's not like you have to wear a special set of earbuds for this, like Jim was saying. It's very passive. And that's what we all love about this. And all your organs make different noises. And that's what the AI that's in them right now is determining, what the different noises are. And when it determines those, then you can start crowd sourcing or, whatever. So, my liver makes this noise, Jim makes this noise, and they all get together. My number one concern with this technology, because we're running up against the clock here, is that my stomach is going to understand it can talk to the earbuds, and then the earbuds are going to send notifications to my phone that says, hey, feed me, buddy.
You need a notification for that?
Well, I tend to ignore it a lot, right? So I'm really concerned that my stomach now is going to know that there's another way that it can communicate with me, and it'll be through my phone now. So very, very concerned about that. But thanks, you guys. It was a lot of fun today. I hope everybody enjoyed the Tech Ranch today. We'll talk a lot more about CES 2025 in future shows. But until the next time, I need to come up with an ending for the show, you guys.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously so. Keep teching. That's good.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.